I'm about to say something very controversial, and a lot of people are going to get upset, but I'm going to say it anyway. Therapy makes you weaker. I'm convinced that therapy makes you weaker as a person. Yo, I grew up in Panama, right? I lived there almost my entire life up until the age of 19, and I never spoke to a therapist. And I didn't know not one person who had ever speaking to a therapist, right? And everybody seemed to be pretty coherent. Everybody seemed to be pretty normal. I just made a video about how Americans love to self-diagnose, and I think that part of the problem is the therapists, right? Therapists. Therapists are the root of the problem. You're in high school, you're in middle school, you're in elementary school. You act up one time, and before you know it, they have you talking to some guidance counselor. And that guidance counselor is filling your head up with all kinds of ideas of victimhood. I shit you not. And I know this for a fact because as a person who grew up overseas, when I came back to America, I went to college here. And even I saw people going to this counselor, and the counselor would fill your head up with all of this nonsense. Oh, so you're feeling sad today? Oh, why are you feeling sad? Oh, perhaps you're depressed. They would literally do the inception of mental illness in your mind. You know, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense. You know, it's their job to keep you sick. I hate to say it, and I know people are going to disagree with me, but it is their job to keep you sick. If I'm a therapist and all of a sudden you're fine, you have no more problems, what the hell am I needed for? Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. What is the purpose of having a therapist? The purpose of having a therapist is for you to be able to tell them what happened to you in your day, what happened to you in your childhood, in your life, and have them analyze it, psychoanalyze it, and regurgitate back to you essentially what you want to hear. Because every single time I've ever seen somebody speaking to a therapist, or I've seen a video of a therapist, or I've heard a therapist on YouTube talking, or I've seen a friend record his session of therapy, the therapist almost always, I'm going to say 85% of the time, just repeats back to the person what they said with different words in a way to make them feel good about themselves. It's like getting a free ego boost. And I'm convinced that if you go through life getting a free ego boost, you will not accomplish anything in this life at all. You're going to be coddled your whole life, carried around like some sort of victim. You know, this is what separates people like me from the average American who's grown up here. And I've been telling this to some of my friends because it goes back, I hate to bring it back in here, but it goes back to the African-American plight too. If you're an African-American person and you're struggling to get a tech job, but you didn't even put in the time to learn what you need to learn to get the job, and some guy from India or some guy from Africa or some guy from Central America comes in, studies his ass off and gets the job, that's on you. You're not a victim. But the problem is that when you go to high school in America, when you go to elementary school, when you go to kindergarten in America, you've been conditioned your entire life to be a victim. And who is the person conditioning you? The therapists. The therapists are the ones convincing you that you're weak. I never went to a therapist. In my entire life growing up in America, I never went to a therapist. I never spoke to a therapist. One time when I was in high school in Panama, my mom tried to make me talk to a counselor, a religious counselor, because I was rebelling. And I lasted 1 day. 1 day. Because even as a kid, I could see through this bullshit. It's bullshit. You're the victim. Everybody's attacking you. Why do you think that's happening to you? Yada, yada, yada. In this life, if you're not able to face your problems head on, your difficulties head on and solve them yourself, you will never make it. You will become a weak person. Getting through adversity is like training a muscle. If you go to the gym every day and work out, you're going to get stronger. If you lay on your sofa all day doing nothing, you're going to get weaker. Going to a therapist, that's what you're doing. You're getting weaker. And most of the time, these therapists don't even attack the real, true underlying issues, right? They're very superficial. They're not getting to the root of the problem because they don't want to get to the root of the problem. If they get to the root of the problem and they solve it for you, they work you through the problem and you solve it, then you're no longer going to need their services. So it's easier for them to just lollygag, tell you what you want to hear, and prescribe some medication that costs an arm and a leg that your insurance company will pay. They don't care about solving the problem. They don't care about fixing your mental health. They're just trying to get rich off of you. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. Think about it this way. You're talking to another person who has their own problems, their own problems. So if they're not able to solve their own problems, how the hell are they going to solve your problems? I am convinced that if I went to a therapist as a child, as a teenager, I would not be wearing this $20,000 Rolex on my wrist. I'm convinced that if I went to a therapist as a teenager, I would never have been able to work my way up to owning a McLaren supercar. Because I would have a victim mentality. Oh, I can't get the job because of my race, I've suffered deep traumatic issues that have affected me, and now I'm externally flawed, so I need to work on myself. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. All they're doing is affirming your victimhood state. And the sad part is a lot of people love to be affirmed, right? A lot of people love to hear what they want. A lot of people want to be coddled. A lot of people don't want to have to fight through difficult situations and figure it out, tough it out. Some people get a little bit sad. Something happens to them, and all of a sudden they think that they're depressed. Oh, my parent passed away. Now I'm depressed. No, you're just sad. Being sad is normal. Being anxious is normal. Being afraid is normal. Those are just normal human emotions. Power through it. Stop being don't make me say the word. Don't make me say the word. I know that the imagery in this video is not the imagery you want. A guy with a MAGA hat on telling you this is not the messenger, but don't shoot the messenger. The truth hurts. You need to stand up and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop being a victim. And one of the things that annoys me the most about this whole therapy culture is that the words used in the therapy sessions leak out and pollute the common speech. All of a sudden, you have people talking about virtue signaling. You have people talking about coping. You have people talking about projection. You have people talking about gaslighting. You have people talking about narcissists. You've put extra baggage on the common vernacular that people use on an everyday basis because a bunch of people went to therapy. Their therapists used these terms, and then they had the brilliant idea to leave the session and use it in the real world. Oh, you're a narcissist. Oh, this person is virtue signaling. Oh, you're just projecting. It's irritating. It's annoying. It adds extra baggage to common speech. And I'm convinced that these words, this vernacular, it all comes from just random people going to therapy, hearing words that they think they can use as a cudgel against people that are trying to hold them accountable, and then going out and using them as that coddle. It's annoying. You're literally ruining society. You're ruining society. You're taking away accountability, because that's another reason why I think that this therapy culture is toxic. It's toxic because a lot of people will go to therapy to have an excuse for acting out, right? Oh, I can't help it. I'm depressed. I can't get a job because I'm depressed. Oh, I can't clean up the house because I have BPD. Oh, I'm autistic. Oh, this person's a narcissist. Oh, this person is they're gaslighting me. Oh, you're projecting. It becomes abundantly clear that this is all a bunch of bullshit when you go and live in another country. Go live in another country where people are struggling for 10 years and then come back to America and you'll see what I mean. Because if you go to a country where people are struggling to survive, where they don't have the luxury of time to sit around and do absolutely nothing other than think about how they can become a bigger victim, when you do that, then you'll realize that people in America are just faking it. They're just doing it for attention. And the attention, the root cause of this problem is the therapists. The therapists. So I just needed to get this off my chest, man. I needed to get this off my chest. I needed to talk to somebody about this because it really is annoying. Anybody who's not from America knows what I'm talking about. And even probably some Americans have noticed it as well, you know? Anyways, let me know what you think. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. Leave a comment below. Subscribe, turn on notifications. I stream every single day at 6:30 p.m. Get yourself up by your bootstraps and hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you later. Peace. I'm out.